What's up, guys? Welcome back. So I wanted to talk about this video. It's pretty important to me, especially because the conversation that I had this morning. Um, it's I'm gonna kind of talk about this, and I don't know. I don't know if I should add this or not, but kind of gonna talk about the situation that I'm currently in also. So this is about the Watchtower basically appealing the not wanting to be investigated for the abuse cases in New Zealand. They lost, thankfully. And it this is from video from KimandMikey. So go ahead and start it.
Good morning, friends. I've got some information, two things. First, I want to discuss the New Zealand Supreme Court case. Now, we know Watchtower has been appealing that they don't want to be a part of this, abuse inquiry that New Zealand did with their commission, and they've been fighting it and appealing it, and they've taken it all the way to the Supreme Court in New Zealand. So I want to thank Shane of JWs for Justice very much, and put the links down below to everything I'm going to be talking about.
And the Shane that she's talking about is the other video that I had reacted to, where they were going over the cases found for for abuse for a Watchtower. That's something that Shane for JW for Justice was covering. It's a video that I did like a while back.
Court dismisses Jehovah's Witnesses' final appeal for abuse and care exemption. This is dated September 16, 2024, today here in the U.S. The Jehovah's Witnesses' final attempt to escape the abuse and care inquiry has been dismissed by the Supreme Court. Yay. The Christian congregation Jehovah's Witnesses has repeatedly sought and failed to be exempted from the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse and Care, arguing it did not have children in its care, so was out of the inquiry scope. But we know they're straining out the net and gulping down the camel, because we know they do allow children to be in care of others.
They absolutely do, because many times from just going out in field service, it's the highest quality, yeah, from like going out in field service, it's they talk about how members can trust other brothers and sisters and elders for the care of their children, and they don't have to worry about their children being going through abuse, which is just bullshit.
It's just not like a daycare or Sunday school like what the secular world would be considered, child care type of situation. The court action was launched after 3 years of legal wrangling with the inquiry behind the scenes to avoid its scrutiny. Well, of course, because they don't want the world to know they have a serious systemic problem with CSA. The Court of Appeal dismissed the faith's argument in April, prompting it to apply for leave to appeal to the Supreme Court. And I can pretty much guarantee, I'm not a psychic or prophet, but I can pretty much guarantee that they are not going to be bragging about taking this case all the way to the Supreme Court and losing. No, because Jehovah's Witnesses only see the positive court cases they win in their favor.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that this will ever be put on like JW.org, or they'll make some type of announcement about it, because this is part of their what they call protecting Jehovah's organization, or protecting Jehovah's name. Basically, only put out what's good, and hide all the losses, hide all the negative bad things that or basically hide all the repercussions for the abuse that they put on others, including children.
In a judgment issued on Friday, the Supreme Court rejected the faith's application, saying it agreed with the Court of Appeals' conclusions. It also rejected an argument that there had been a miscarriage of justice. Oh, wah, Watchtower. You are such big whiny babies. Wah. We're being persecuted. Nor does anything raised by the Jehovah's Witnesses give rise to an appearance of miscarriage of justice in the approach adopted by the Court of Appeal, particularly where the proposed appeal would be academic. And I just want to mention that the reason I mock them with the wah for, you new ones, is because of the way they have treated all of us who have left. Our human rights have been violated. Every single one of us who have left, every single one of us who has been shunned by our family. So that is why I feel I have the right to mock them at this point. The commission.
And this is something that, I said in the beginning, that was the question I'm talking about, because I actually had a conversation with my mom this morning, and it was stuff that like I needed to say, but it was stuff that I didn't want to say. But this organization, once you leave it, whatever family members are in there, like my family shuns me completely. My family shuns me, and this is something that affects me directly, especially right now because I'm hurt, and all throughout the process of trying to get disability, of trying to get trying to get help, so many times social services, disability health center has asked me, where is your family? Why can't you get help from your family? And I have to sit there and explain to them, I cannot get help from my family because my family members will not talk to me because I left this cult. I left this organization, and they have a rule saying that once members leave, whatever family members are in there, they cannot speak to you. And even though recently they changed that rule due to what's going on in New Zealand, thank you, New Zealand. They have changed that rule because of all the backlash they're facing. This affects people in so many ways and negatively. It's not just, well, I can't talk to my family for a while and going through, depression from not being able to talk to your family. I can't talk to them at all. And the only reason that I'm able to talk to my parents is because my parents live on my land. And I was kind of put into a corner this morning because my parents told me I needed to sign my land over into their name, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not doing that. And I would love to like trust my parents and to tell, and be able to like help them out in some type of way, but I'm not giving my possessions over to people that are in this cult, that are in the Jehovah's Witness organization, Watchtower Bible Tract Society, because so many times I have heard and I have seen elderly ones, once they are, oops, sorry. Okay, I had to take a phone call. But yeah, basically what I was saying before is, I'm not up to like, I would like to be in a situation where I can, have trust for my parents, but because they're in this cult, I've seen so many situations where other members of their congregation, they end up signing over their possessions to them, to those members, and leaving out their own family members because they're brainwashed basically into giving them their property. And when they told me this morning that they, you know, that they wanted me to sign my land over into their name, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. That's, just no. And as soon as I said that, they were like, they were talking to one another, and one of them just said, just drop it. Just drop it. And it was like something that they just like expected me to like say yes to for whatever reason, which I'm absolutely not going to do. But like the kind of situation that I'm in right now is where, you know, social services wants to know, why are you not able to get help from your family? Because most, I feel like that some people are, and it's for the most ridiculous reasons. Because I left this cult. Once you leave this cult, it takes whatever family is in there. It takes them away from you, and it's absolutely horrible. And there should be laws put up against this, because they should not be able to do this. And the absolute, the shunning, is just inhumane. And the way that you're treated by your family members once you leave, as if you absolutely just don't exist, because they call it, well, you died spiritually, they say, so you're no longer considered a person to them, basically. And they treat you like absolute shit, and it needs to stop. Like, I hope so bad that something happens here in America where this place is like investigated, because so many people are hurt from this.
Has now released its report. The Jehovah's Witnesses can challenge the report of the commission, as we understand it has done. The commission's final report, which included a 74-page case study into the Jehovah's Witnesses, concluded the faith did have children or vulnerable people in its care, and there was credible evidence of abuse. The Supreme Court also chastised the church for filing a submission that exceeded the 10-page limit and ordered it to pay court costs of $2,500 to the Crown. The Jehovah's Witnesses have already agreed to pay $48,000 in court costs from a string of failed cases related to the inquiry in its final report.
Because they keep on...
And how much...
Because they keep on just denying it, and it's there, it's evident, it's in broad daylight, that any reasonable person can see that the way that they treat people in the organization, and the way that they push them, to either accept what they say or be treated like shit, be treated, inhumanely. Because whatever, if people choose to stay in the organization, that's up to them. But I just remember when I started, to kind of wake up and to kind of like reject some of the teachings that I had, I was immediately, I'm going to call it like, like sometimes you can get like shadow banned from things, where you can still go to wherever, but it's different. And people will start to treat you differently. They will start to basically shadow ban you, and start to basically shun you at that point. And then once you're out completely, people, your family will shun you, and you have no choice but to put up with that. Even if you love your family a lot, you have no choice but to put up with that, because they are completely indoctrinated, and it's ridiculous.
How much did they cost the taxpayers in New Zealand for all of this nonsense? I think they should have to pay back everything to the government.
And you can sit there and you can show the ones that believe this court documents, court evidence, court filings of all the things that are done, the pedophilia, the abuse cases, the CSA cases that are currently ongoing, even here in America, and they will sit there and say, no, this is Jehovah's law. That was another thing that I was told this morning, that in no way will they put like Jehovah's law over another human. That's exactly what I was told this morning. And it's just ridiculous. So I just feel like at this point that towards my family, I'm not even like recognized as like a person.
The church has been approached for comment. Former Jehovah's Witness turned advocate Shane Meacham said the Supreme Court decision was good news for survivors of abuse within the church. Way to go, Shane. Survivors will feel ecstatic it has finally come to an end, and the JWs are no longer trying to escape scrutiny. Good. Good. So thank you. And I also have a link that he sent me to the PDF for the court documents. This was the case in the Supreme Court of New Zealand between the Christian Congregation Jehovah's Witnesses and Royal Commission of Inquiry into Historical Abuse in State Care and the Care of Faith-Based Institutions and the Attorney General. Yeah, they're going to have to pay legal fees, and you can read all of this under the subheading Reasons on page 2 of the PDF. It says the applicant, the Christian Congregation Jehovah's Witnesses Australasia, the Jehovah's Witnesses, seeks leave to appeal from a decision of the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal upheld the decision of the High Court dismissing a challenge by way of judicial review brought by the Jehovah's Witnesses to activities of the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Historical Abuse in State Care and in the Care of Faith-Based Institutions. And then they give some background and all this. So this has been a long fight, and we're all glad that it has, we finally have a decision in the favor of the abuse survivors. So congratulations. This is good. This is good. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is we've had a lot of questions, and we all have questions. Why has Watchtower started the 3 new wealth management or asset management companies in Ireland?
This is something that I found very interesting, what she's about to cover, because I had no idea that this was a thing that they did, but I guess they have no choice to now because of everything that's going on, and I think that they're very close to losing their tax exempt status.
So I've been doing some digging, and it takes me a little bit longer since I have to do this myself now. I don't have help. But the 501(c)(3) organizations here in the United States, they are giving a tax exempt on any of the profits they take in because the government feels, because it's so important for these charitable and philanthropic organizations to try to help people. Well, we know Jehovah's Witnesses don't help anyone, and when they say in their documents that preaching the good news is helping their community, that's what they believe, their philanthropic.
I mean, it is helping their community. It's helping them lock in more people that don't know the situation that they're getting into to trap more families and traumatize more people and more children.
Thing is what they claim they do. Now, here in the United States, when they have the 501(c)(3), they don't have to pay taxes. And in fact, they usually don't have to file a IRS 990 form or any of those other forms, even on their investments, stocks and investments. They're allowed to have those and fundraising and all of that and not pay taxes on this income. And that's where a lot of us have issues. It's like churches should not be allowed to get these huge investment portfolios and make all these profits and not be taxed on this. So anyway, you can go look it up. The IRS, this is where I got it, right from the IRS website. Now, so I was doing a search of why so many companies are moving to Ireland. And Mike just happened to have been watching a video on YouTube, and they were talking to a man. Let me see if I can get this correct. Kevin O'Leary. He was on the TV show Shark Tank, and he is a financial advisor and investor.
I think I might skip past this part. Hold on. She talks up to there. Okay.
And so they are talking to him. Now, pay attention to what he says. And
I'm just going to skip past it.
now you heard him mention that the government is wanting to raise the tax for corporations to 28%. I went to the IRS website, and it's 21% right now for these large corporations. It's different levels based on their income, but they're wanting to raise it to 28%. That is high. That is really high. And like he mentions in that clip, corporate tax rate, in addition to state taxes, would make America very uncompetitive in the G20 and start losing companies like we did when taxes were that high. They all went to Ireland, particularly the pharma companies. Now, that's the interesting thing. There's been a lot of talk about how they want to get rid of the 501 nonprofit, or the non-taxable income on their profits. So, does Watchtower see the handwriting on the wall? Is this why they are moving and started these companies for asset management in Ireland? Now, Velocity Global, I found this article, Why Global Companies Expand into Ireland. Ireland's favorable tax environment, highly skilled labor force, and connections to the European market make it an attractive location for companies looking to expand overseas. The country offers a low corporate tax rate of only 12.5%, has one of the world's youngest and most educated workforces, and has proven its resiliency amid recessions. In fact, international companies based in Ireland experienced significant throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Facebook, Google, and Intel are among the many multinational corporations with regional headquarters in Dublin. Now remember, Dublin is where Watchtower started their companies. Okay, taking advantage of the numerous benefits this country has to offer. So I can't help but see a connection between Watchtower starting their asset wealth management companies, 3 of them, we did a video about it not too long ago, in Ireland, and what they're saying in here. Ireland's corporate tax rate is one of Europe's lowest. Okay, now when you scroll down, see if you recognize any of these big name corporations. The following businesses are among many global companies with production facilities, research and development centers, or administrative offices in Ireland. Pfizer, Merck, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson. And I can't help but wonder, look at all of the investments Watchtower is getting money and trust money from. It's these companies. It's these companies. So why wouldn't they want to go to Ireland and start their new asset wealth management companies there? I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be starting some more, if they haven't already. Because what better way to protect your assets? See, like Mike keeps saying, it's all a snare and a racket. Now, I want to show, like I said, it was a huge rabbit hole. And when I started investigating this, it
really is coming out to be that this place is not a religion. It's just more of a business model that tries to prop itself up as a religion and trap as many people as it can to keep itself tax-free.
Looking for Watchtower's latest IRS 990 form, because even though they're not required to actually file one, They do. And a lot of this depends on the income also, like corporations. You know, their tax rate varies depending on what their income is. The 21% these corporations pay was those that make a lot of money. Can be as low as 0, you know, if they don't make that much. So, let me play. I'm going to turn the camera around and do this. Now, in searching for information, especially Watchtower's IRS 990 forms on their capital gains for investments and stuff like that, I came across this website, Cause IQ, Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York. Now, I find this interesting because you get their employment identification number right here, and you can use that to do a search for their IRS forms. And this, like I said, is of New York, and you can see 5013C status in New York. Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York is a Christian nonprofit organization in Wallkill, New York that was founded in 1992. Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York is a parent organization to a group of 10 other organizations. I find that funny. And of course, you know, they don't have revenues or anything like that. And we're limited what we can see, because if we click on these links, I have to buy a subscription to this website.
And of course, I guess this is like the business side, but you know, if you go to, like I've heard so many times in like in talks that, you know, Jehovah's organization is all one organization. That's something that they try to shove down people's throats constantly, so people donate more money to them.
But I found this of interest. Who funds Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York? Grants from foundation and other nonprofits. National Philanthropic Trust, a little over $4 million in grants. Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund, $1.5 million. You know, and of course they have the dates here. Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund, $1.5 million. And then 28 more grants received, totaling $10,356,000. And like I said, when you click on this link, you have to buy the subscription to this website. But this rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper, because I was just looking for information on their 990 form on paying the capital gains on their investments and stuff. And then, of course, they have other corporations that are like the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, which different congregations here. But the Religious Order of Jehovah's Witnesses is a 501c3. And then you can click on that, and it takes you to the...
Wait. I need to go back. I used to go to this assembly hall. For the yearly circuit conventions that they would hold, the Richmond, Virginia Assembly Hall, when I was in a Virginia congregation.
And then you can click on that, and it takes you to the Religious Order of Jehovah's Witnesses, which is another 501c3. Grants from other nonprofits and foundations. United Way Worldwide, only $8,400. And same thing, you know, the long list of stuff. Now you can click on these. You don't need a subscription to click on these like I just did. You can click on these. And same thing.
I'm wondering where it says like nonprofit, or it says nonprofit types, and it says child organization, churches, or whatever. I wonder if that can fall under something for all the child abuse that happens here, and it happens in here in the Jehovah's Witness organization, that they claim that they always protect the children, and they don't. I wonder if that's something that could, hurt their nonprofit donations if it's ever like revealed. And well, it's being revealed right now in New Zealand, but if it ever comes to the states and it gets investigation goes on in the states about it.
Only $8,400. And same thing, the long list of stuff. Now you can click on these.
And I know that places, like, I'm just off the top of my head, like the Catholic Church, like, I'm sure that they get a ton of donations from nonprofit, and they've had a ton of CSA cases and child abuse going in there. But even though that they do, they still have the decency to come out and publicly announce it, that that's what's going on. With Watchtower Bible Tract Society, they just try to sweep everything under the rug, and the person that's abused doesn't even matter. And it's so disgusting.
You don't need a subscription to click on these like I just did. And see, it always gives the employment identification number. And that's how you can find these things also. Now, I also wanted to mention, back here on the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York, you can look over here, okay? Right here. Data update history. And they have updated history to the latest. Received grants from the American Online Giving Foundation. Received grants, 9 new grants, and they have the amounts here. 3 new grants for $763,000. 9 new grants for $271,000. 2 new grants, $347,000 from the American Endowment Foundation. On American Online Giving Foundation, $580,000. Grindstaff Family Foundation, $250,000. And we've done videos in the past about all these trust funds they have from individual corporations and families. Like right here, Grindstaff Family Foundation. There you go. It's another trust, aka grant foundation. Now, this is the IRS website. You can see IRS website, and you can do a search for tax-exempt organizations, the 501c3s. See, and click on this button, search for tax-exempt organizations, and see the employer identification number. That's why I mentioned that, because this is what you can use. And you can get their number like we did on that other document and type in their number, their employee identification number. And do a search. See? Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania. This is fairly easy to do. And then you can get the last form they filed. Then you can file or click over here, copy of return, and you get the return. See? Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania, 501c3. So there's another corporation that's a 501c3. And they don't have an amount on this form. But when you go to the 2017 form, now they were required to file this in 2018, 501c3, Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania. But look right here, investment activities. Income from partnerships and S corporations, $146,000. Unrelated business taxable income before net operating loss deduction, $139,000. But you can go through these. These are available to the public. It tells you who has done the return for them. And a lot of these older IRS 990 forms actually have a list of their capital gains from their investments and stuff. See? Like this. CCMP, Capital Investors, $150,000. University Hotel Development. Looks like that was a loss. That's a minus. So they get to count the loss. But still, $85,000. Now, the thing is, like I mentioned, most corporations in the United States have to pay the 21% rate. See? They would have had to pay $11,000. And some of this they might have to pay. See, then it tells you countries regarding activities and other information. All of these. Why would they be in these countries? Well, because we know because they get special, tax benefits and stuff for being in these countries. And what a good way to hide, if they kept it all here in the United States, what a good way to hide their assets. And on this one here, 2020, very short, very simple, not a lot of details. Interesting stuff, isn't it? So anyone, this is available to the public. And once you have their employment identification number, which you saw, I just did, then you can get these documents. And there's a lot of like charity websites where you can go in and put their employment identification number, and they will actually have copies of the 990 forms. And that's why we've got a lot of their 990 forms. And unfortunately, they don't have the amount of the assets of investments and stocks they hold anymore on the form. Because years ago, we used to be able to see how much. Like this particular return, look at how much mega bucks they raked in on their investments this year. So anyway, thank you everybody so much for more birthday cards for Mikey and anniversary cards. Yes, we celebrated our 45th anniversary yesterday. My, how time flies. And so I want to thank you very much, and thank you so much.
Happy anniversary to KimandMikey.
For, your love and words of support and comments and emails, phone calls. We appreciate it. We really do. I don't have any new news on Atlantis, but anyway, I'm hoping when I can. It's just too hard.
I love the things that she says about Atlantis that's coming up here, because it's really amazing. Like all the information that we've been able to, people have been able to hear about, including myself, is because of Atlantis, and all the things that, I guess it's a guy, so all the things that that he's done. It's thank you to the ones that reveal this information, and to the PMOs in this organization that reveal this information, because to the ones that are trying to figure out a way how to get out, and trying to figure out how to wake up and escape this place, it's so helpful. So thank you to those people, and thank you to the ones like KimandMikey who take that, process that information, and then report on it, because I cannot imagine the amount of stress and backlash that they've had to face throughout the years, and they're still continuing to do that.
hard right now, but when I can, I do want to share some things with you. And like I said in a previous video, he was quite the character. Disfellowship 4 times, never reinstated.
See, it's stuff like that. And what she means by that is basically he was disfellowshipped in the congregation and moved to somewhere else so he could get more information. Disfellowship there, moved somewhere else to get more information. Like, stuff like that is, it's you. I don't think that that's possible to do anymore because they keep digital records of everyone, and from what I know, they have really locked down on security for as far as trying to identify a person once they come in. So yes, they absolutely do know who the pedophiles in their organization that they're hiding are. Um, but I guess back in the time when Atlantis would have done this, they didn't really keep a good track record of like who people were, which definitely made it easier for people to do horrible things and then just move somewhere else, and their record is, wiped clean as far as the organization goes, and then you can just act like a different person and not face any punishment for it, because Watchtower keeps and conceals all the records from the authorities who, would otherwise have those type of people behind bars.
But just kept doing good in the organization. Just move from one area to another. You could do that back then. You could and get away with it because they didn't have, a data file of people on their web, on their computers or, website and stuff. So you could do that back then. And so anyway, I'm hoping to be able to do that. So thank you everybody so much for everything. And thank you for all of you who are sending me information. And Shane is on Facebook. It is JW's for Justice. And I will put a link down below so that you can go back and read all of this timeline of all what's been going on in this fight. And I think this is important for all of us to pay attention to each country and these fights. And I think doing YouTube videos, because someone made the comment that, we shouldn't be doing YouTube videos. We need to start these groups and go after them and get them, criminally. And I kind of got offended on that because I do think YouTube videos are important. I think the information that we put out is important.
I just want to say that someone who's benefited from watching YouTube videos of EXJWs from people like KimandMikey, I also think that YouTube videos are important because if this stuff was in a group, I would have never heard about it. I would have not known who to search, who to look up, and also just, if stuff is in a group and stuff is posted on a blog, people go and say something. There's no documentation to back it up. There's nothing to back it up. People could say whatever. YouTube videos, information is presented, documents are presented, proof is presented. And I mean, having stuff move to groups that are divided, it just seems like that being able to get information out that way would be so much harder. And people that are trying to wake up and to find a place, where others are like them, or others are in a situation similar to them because they have left this cult and possibly have lost their family in doing so, it would be a lot harder for them to not feel so alone when they're going through that process, because it is a seriously painful process to have to go through.
Because your average Jehovah's Witness, which in PMOs, they don't go to a lot of these websites. And I do agree that we need to get these countries to go after the organization criminally, but Many of us.
And she's right. A lot of people that come out of the organization or that are trying to go out of the organization, they don't go to these websites. And I feel like, you know, I don't really have any proof to back it up, but I feel like that they don't go because for so many years you are indoctrinated while you're in the organization to not visit sites that speak against it because it's viewed as apostasy and as blasphemy against God. And if those people want to come out of the organization and still remain Christian, then perhaps, you know, they feel by going to these sites that they're committing blasphemy against God, which they don't want to do. And I mean, I can see why from that perspective I can see why they wouldn't want to visit it. But I mean, also it's just hard to find groups. Like all this time that I've been covering XJW stuff, the only group that I've actually heard about is Shane's. And I've been, besides what is it jw.com, I think, is another site. But it's not really a group. It's just a site. I think they have a forum that you can go and make an account on, but I don't know how much of a group it's considered. But yeah, other than that, and I heard about that from YouTube. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would have never heard of Shane's Facebook group. I'm not in his Facebook group. I don't intend to join it, but I'm just saying, if it wasn't for YouTube, I would have never heard about that group.
Many of us have been trying that for the past 12 years, and it is really, really difficult. And I know of so many organizations that have been started just in the past 12 years that we've been in this community who have, had grandiose ideas, and they're good. I'm not, bashing them for wanting to do this, but it's like so many have tried. So many have tried. AWA, AAWA, that was a big thing back when we were coming into the community, and everybody had, great hopes for that organization to be able to do something. And we see how that ended up. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good because they outed a lot of PMOs. And there's been many more. Too long, too many to mention. But, that AWA was the first one when we were leaving the organization and, started looking around and on forums and stuff in the community. But, and it's a great idea. And ideally, that would be the way to go. But to say that YouTube videos, we shouldn't be doing YouTube videos because they're not doing any good, I beg to differ.
YouTube videos help out so much. Like I said, people that are looking, it's not just, people that are looking for the most minimum amount of support in what they're trying to do, which is leave this cult, is it helps out so greatly in the fact that that you are not alone, that the person on the screen that you hear talking has been through many of the things that you are currently going through, and you see them being a functioning okay human, even though at the time that you're watching this you may feel that you're crazy or you're insane from all the gaslighting and manipulation and just stress of having to lose your family, stress of having to leave, basically rewire your brain because you've been indoctrinated so bad by this cult, and you have to relearn how the world actually works. Is having access to YouTube videos is a huge help for mental health alone, I would say.
There have been so many attorneys I wish you guys could see through the years how many attorneys and prosecutors have contacted us and Atlantis for documents and stuff and help with these court cases. I have an email up here on the wall from Zalkin Law Firm thanking us because we were able to send some organization books and documents to them to help them in court cases. That means a lot. Tell me YouTube videos aren't doing good. So, I do disagree with that. And we will keep doing YouTube videos. And I know I've backed off a little bit.
And that's something before I watched this video, she pointed out that like lawyers use this. I never thought that lawyers would actually use YouTube videos for evidence, but I mean, it makes sense that they do. Not to mention that, she has in the past, and other YouTubers also have in the past. Their EXJW have gone and looked up active court cases here in America showing CSA, other types of abuse, that have happened in the Jehovah's Witnesses organization. And otherwise, people would not go and look that up, because if you're someone that's trying to get out, you are trained. Your brain is trained to absolutely not look it up. And when you see it, there's like so much brainwashing that happens that it's hard to believe, even though it's there in a legal court document, that is, I'm losing my words here, but that is, it's a legal court document by the U.S. Justice system that is posted for whatever state. It can still be really hard to believe that that's actually true, what you see in the court document, because you're so brainwashed into seeing that, from the governing body posting their updates or their videos on jw.org that members have to watch every month, that they continuously also in public talks in their literature that they put out, it's constantly reiterated. Do not believe what you see out in the world. And it's like, why not believe it? Because it is a court document from a U.S. justice system. It is absolutely 100% true. And you're telling people that this information isn't true? You're full of shit and you're a liar.
But I'm doing so much. But when so many others are covering the same thing, I have such a heavy workload here at home. It isn't just the, activist thing, but a heavy workload on other stuff that I have to pick and choose what is important. But I do know that YouTube videos are important, and for getting the word out and exposing them. This is how people find us, is on YouTube. A lot of them, they don't go to social media, especially when there's so many that don't have their names in a way to get a hold of them and contact them. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but you can understand, what I'm saying. And especially in Waking Up Jehovah's Witnesses, that has been one of our main goals, our mission statement, so to speak, is getting to the individual Jehovah's Witnesses, helping them wake up, helping the PMOs, because we know they have nobody else to talk to. And that's why they have to remain anonymous in this community.
And that's why I say thank you to the PMOs, because, at one point, I was a PMO for years. And what she means by having no one to talk to is not like PMOs have a place where they go to talk, maybe besides Reddit, but, even then, it's very difficult to... It's not the same as sitting down in front of a person and talking, or being able to upload something and share the information that online. Like, there's no one to talk to, and these people are spread out all over the place, but they're not necessarily next to each other where they can communicate freely. So yes, the PMOs they go under a ton of stress from this. So definitely thank you to PMOs.
And the biggest thing is giving a voice to the abuse survivors.
Definitely.
That is a biggie.
Absolutely.
That is a biggie. So you all have a wonderful week. We love.
Okay. So that's the end of the video. I'll put a link to the video. If you watch my video, click on the link. Like my video. Go to KimandMikey's channel. Share the love. Like their video. Leave a comment on my video. Go leave a comment on their video also. Like, this is, the stuff that they have uncovered throughout the years is just amazing. And thank you so much to KimandMikey for everything that they've done. All right, that's about it for now. You guys have a good day. Bye bye.